Are you killing yourself at the gym, but your body refuses to change? You might be making invisible mistakes that are throwing away every set, every rep, every drop of sweat. And the worst part, you probably don't even know it. Mistake number 4 might be destroying your muscle from the inside. And if you're doing number 1, brace yourself, because you're training for absolutely nothing. 13. Skipping the workouts you don't like. It may seem like something small, even justifiable. Maybe you tell yourself, today I'm not training legs, better hit chest again. Or you simply avoid that routine you know destroys you. But let me tell you this, every time you skip the workout you hate, you're sabotaging the body you're trying to build. Not training certain muscle groups doesn't just create visual imbalances. That's the least of your problems. The real issue is functional. For example, avoiding leg training reduces testosterone production and growth hormone release, 2 fundamental elements if you're trying to build muscle and burn fat. Did you know that exercises like squats or deadlifts activate more muscle fibers and hormonal systems than any other movement? Skipping them is like shutting off the faucet of progress. And there's more. When you choose the easy route, you weaken your discipline. You're teaching yourself that it's acceptable to avoid real effort. That doesn't stay in the gym. It bleeds into your life. Training the uncomfortable, the heavy, the mentally demanding is what builds not just a complete strong body, but an unbreakable mindset. So next time you're about to skip leg day or any routine you don't enjoy, remember this. Your progress is hiding exactly where you feel the most discomfort. 12. Training in a toxic or unmotivated environment. Few things kill progress faster than training in a place that doesn't inspire you. You can have the best routine in the world, but if you walk into a gym where the machines are rusty, the atmosphere is hostile, the music disconnects you, and the energy is dead, your motivation dies before you even start the first set. Your training environment isn't a minor detail, it's a catalyst. When you're surrounded by focused people, in a clean space, with good energy, something in your brain switches on. You enter performance mode. But if every time you train you run into distractions, interruptions, or even negative people who steal your focus, your body won't perform the same, and your mind even less. In fact, a study published by the University of Illinois showed that concentration levels in physical tasks can drop by up to 34% in noisy, disorganized environments or those filled with unwanted stimuli. Can you imagine losing 1/3 of your effectiveness just because of where you're training? It's not about finding the perfect gym. It's about building your perfect mental space. If you can't change the environment, adapt your mind. Train with headphones. Create a playlist that fires you up, block out the external noise. But if you can choose a place where you feel in battle mode. Because every rep needs focus. And without focus, there are no results. 11. Not tracking your macronutrients. This is one of those mistakes most people underestimate, and the one that separates those who just go to the gym from those who actually transform their bodies. You can train 5 or 6 days a week, use the best exercises, and still see no results simply because you're not eating what your body needs. Saying, "I eat healthy," isn't enough. If you don't know how much protein you're getting, how many carbs you're burning, or whether you're in a caloric deficit or surplus, you're navigating blind. It's that simple. Protein, for example, isn't just important, it's essential. The International Society of Sports Nutrition recommends between 1.6 and 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight for people trying to build muscle. If you weigh 70 kilos, that's between 112 and 154 grams of protein per day. Are you sure you're hitting that? Because if not, you're training without bricks to build. And the same goes for carbs. They're your primary energy source. Cut them too much and you'll feel slow, weak, unmotivated. Without enough fat, your hormones go off balance. The result? Plateau, frustration, fatigue, and no real change. Tracking your macros isn't an obsession. It's a strategy. Using apps like MyFitnessPal, Fat Secret, or simply keeping a log puts you in control. Because if you're not measuring, you're guessing. And guessing is not an option if you truly want to transform your physique. 10. Lifting more weight than you can actually handle. This is one of the most common and one of the most dangerous mistakes. Ego in the gym has injured more people than any poorly loaded barbell ever has. Lifting more weight than your body can control doesn't make you stronger. It just puts you on the waiting list for an injury or for chronic stagnation. Many do it for one simple reason. They want to impress, whether it's others or themselves. But here's the brutal truth. No one cares how much weight you lift if you're doing it wrong. And while you're busy pretending to be strong, your joints, tendons, and central nervous system are getting punished by a load you can't dominate. A study published in the Journal of Sports Science and Medicine confirmed that poor lifting technique under heavy load significantly increases the risk of musculoskeletal injuries, especially in the lower back and shoulders. And not only that, it also activates a negative response in your nervous system, making it fatigue sooner and limiting your overall performance. And what happens when this becomes a habit? Stagnation. Every week you show up to the gym to repeat the disaster. You don't improve, you don't grow, and on top of that, you end up frustrated. Lifting with control, clean technique, and intention, that is real strength. If you can't move the weight with proper form, you're not training, you're gambling with your health. Remember this, the weight isn't the goal, it's only the tool. The objective is progress, not impressing anyone. 9. Not resting enough between sets. This mistake is silent but deadly. Many believe that the less they rest between sets, the harder they're training. And sure, feeling that burn in the muscle might make it seem like you're doing great, but the truth is that burn doesn't mean progress. It means fatigue. And fatiguing a muscle before it's ready doesn't make it stronger. It makes it less efficient. Skipping proper rest reduces your performance in the following sets. You don't have the same strength, the same contraction capacity, or the same focus, and that means the quality of the stimulus drops. You're doing more reps, but with less impact. A study from the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research showed that people who rest between 2 to 3 minutes between sets generate more strength, volume, and muscle growth than those who rest only 30 seconds. Why? Because the muscle needs time to recover its ability to produce force. Without that recovery, you're training at half power. And this is even more important if you train naturally, without hormonal assistance. Your body needs that time to replenish ATP, oxygen, and clear metabolites. If you skip that process, you're simply exhausting the muscle without allowing it to perform at its peak. Don't confuse intensity with rushing. Rest isn't wasted time, it's an active part of training. Use a timer, breathe deeply, and when you grab the bar again, make sure you're at 100%. Not at 60, 8, not hydrating properly. It may sound basic, almost obvious, but what many people don't understand is that dehydration is one of the most destructive factors for your physical performance and muscle progress. Not drinking enough water before, during, and after your workout is like trying to run an engine with no oil. Everything wears out faster, works worse, and breaks sooner. Water isn't just hydration. It's the medium your body uses to transport nutrients, regulate temperature, maintain muscle function, and allow fiber contraction. If you don't have enough fluid in your system, your muscles simply can't operate at 100%, and you'll feel it from the very first rep. A study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research showed that losing just 2% of your body weight in water can reduce muscle strength by up to 19%. Can you imagine? You train hard, but your strength drops almost 20% just because you didn't drink enough water. On top of that, when you're dehydrated, blood volume decreases. This means less oxygen and fewer nutrients reaching your muscles. Less strength, less endurance, slower recovery. And if you train with high frequency, that can be the fast track to overtraining. The solution is simple but powerful. Make your water bottle your best training partner. Drink at least half a liter before you start. And during your workout, take small sips every 15 to 20 minutes. Don't wait to feel thirsty. If you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Because in the end, the difference between a good workout and a useless one might be a simple glass of water. 7. Excessive volume in your training. This is one of the most common mistakes among people who train hungry for results, but with little strategy. Training more doesn't always mean training better. In fact, most of the time, it means the exact opposite. Has it happened to you that you add more exercises, more sets, more training days thinking you'll grow faster? The truth is that when volume exceeds your recovery capacity, you stop progressing and start regressing. Training too much wears down your nervous system, drains your energy stores, and interferes with protein synthesis. And when that happens, your muscles don't rebuild. They just get inflamed and then collapse. The Journal of Applied Physiology published a study evaluating the impact of reducing training volume in a group of athletes. The result? By reducing volume by 30% while keeping intensity and improving recovery, participants achieved an 18% increase in strength compared to those who kept high volumes. More is not better. Better is better. And here's something else. When you do too many exercises in one session, the quality of each one fades. You lose focus, technique, and by the end of the workout, you're simply repeating movements with no intention or real energy. Your body doesn't grow while you train. It grows while you recover from smart training. And that means choosing what to do and when to do it. Instead of doing 6 exercises per muscle group, focus on 3 or 4 that truly stimulate growth. Use good technique, proper load, and give the muscle the respect it deserves. Because training with excessive volume doesn't make you more disciplined. It makes you more tired and more likely to get stuck. 6. Overdoing cardio. This mistake is so subtle that most people don't even see it coming until they've already lost muscle, energy, and motivation. And although cardio is valuable for health and fat loss, doing too much of it can become your worst enemy if your goal is to build or maintain muscle. The problem isn't cardio itself, but the approach. Spending 45 minutes or more running on a treadmill every day, or doing intense sessions after strength training without proper nutrition and recovery, can push you into a state of muscle catabolism. Your body starts using your muscle as fuel. Yes, exactly the opposite of what you want. And it's not just a theory. A study from the Journal of Applied Physiology showed that combining resistance training with prolonged frequent cardio reduces muscle protein synthesis and inhibits strength adaptations. Translation: you lose muscle and don't gain strength. Think of it like this. You're building a house with bricks. You're strength training. But every day a storm comes, excessive cardio, and washes away part of what you built. You never finish the structure. So, should you eliminate cardio? Not at all. Strategic cardio helps. It boosts cardiovascular health, improves recovery, and supports fat loss. But it has to be controlled and measured. The ideal? 2 to 3 sessions per week of 20 to 30 minutes, or HIIT-style training that doesn't drain you completely. Remember this, cardio should not compete with your strength training. It should complement it. If you use it strategically, it boosts your results. If you do it without control, it erases them. 5. Spending too much time sitting. This one will surprise you because it's not about what you do in the gym. It's about what you do the rest of the day. You can train for an hour with brutal intensity, but if you then spend the next 8 or 10 hours sitting in front of a screen, you're killing your progress without even realizing it. The human body was not designed to stay still for so long. Sitting for long periods reduces blood circulation, especially in the legs and lower back. Your muscles compress, stiffen, and lose mobility. And when training time comes again, they're not ready to perform. Your range of motion is limited, your posture is altered, and your muscles don't activate properly. A study in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine analyzed more than 10,000 adults and found that those who spent more than 8 hours per day sitting had a 50% higher chance of losing muscle mass, even if they exercised regularly. Yes, you read that right. Even though they trained, daily sedentary behavior was neutralizing their results. Think of it this way. You're putting out the fire you lit during your workout. The solution isn't to quit your job or abandon your routine. It's to interrupt the sedentary cycle. Stand up every hour. Stretch. Walk for 5 minutes. Do body weight squats. Activate your body. Move your blood. Reactivate your muscles. Because progress isn't only built in the gym, it's preserved between workouts. Don't let a passive lifestyle destroy your active discipline. Your body needs movement beyond training. 4. Training while hungry. This is one of the most invisible mistakes, but also one of the most devastating for your performance and physical progress. Some people believe that working out on an empty stomach will make them burn more fat. Others simply don't eat because they don't have time. But training hungry without the necessary fuel is like trying to start an engine with no gas. You can turn the key, but you're not going far. And if you push it, you burn it out. When you train without having eaten properly, your glycogen stores are low. That means your muscles don't have the immediate energy they need to perform. The result? Less strength, fewer reps, lower intensity, and an ineffective session. But that's not the worst part. When your body realizes there's no available energy, it switches to survival mode. And if things get critical, It starts breaking down muscle tissue to convert it into fuel. Yes, it starts eating your muscles. The very thing you worked so hard to build. And this is not an exaggeration. A study published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition showed that fasted training reduces anaerobic performance and does not significantly improve long-term fat oxidation, contrary to what many people believe. In other words, training fasted doesn't make you burn more fat, but it does make you perform worse and risk muscle loss. If you train early and don't have time to digest a full meal, at least eat something simple. A banana with a tablespoon of peanut butter, a protein shake with oats, or a slice of whole grain bread with honey. You don't need a heavy meal. You just need available energy. Because your workout doesn't start when you pick up the weight. It starts with what you put in your body before lifting it. 3. Ignoring the warm-up. This is, without a doubt, one of the most repeated and most underestimated mistakes in gyms worldwide. People walk in, stroll around for 2 minutes, do a couple of reps with light weight, and think they're ready to go heavy. But the truth is, if you skip the warm-up, you're setting your body up to fail. Or worse, to get injured. Think of this. Your muscles are like rubber bands. If you stretch them while cold, they snap. But if you warm them up, they become more elastic, stronger, more responsive. The same thing happens with your body. Training without warming up is putting your muscles, tendons, and joints under maximum tension, without preparing them first. And that can lead anywhere from a minor strain to a serious injury that takes you out for weeks or months. From a performance standpoint, it's just as destructive. When you don't warm up, your neuromuscular connection is slower, your range of motion is limited, and muscle activation is poor. Your body isn't ready to perform, it's merely reacting. A proper warm-up isn't just breaking a sweat. It's preparing your nervous system, elevating your body temperature, improving blood flow, and activating the specific muscles you're about to train. For example, if you're training chest, include shoulder rotations, controlled push-ups, scapular activation. If you're training legs, do body weight squats, dynamic stretches, hip mobility. You only need 8 to 10 minutes to turn a mediocre workout into an explosive one. And more importantly, to avoid injuries. Not warming up is like going to war without sharpening your sword. Maybe you survive today, but sooner or later, you're going down. 2. Not resting enough. This mistake is so common that most people don't even consider it part of their training. But let me be brutally clear. If you don't sleep well, you don't build muscle. Period. You can have the best routine, the best diet, the best supplements, but if you sleep poorly, you're throwing everything in the trash. Literally. Because while you're asleep, your body is working. That's when the magic happens. Anabolic hormones like testosterone and growth hormone are released, damaged muscle fibers are rebuilt, and the central nervous system resets. Sleeping 5 hours is not enough. It's sleeping poorly, and it comes with consequences. A study by the University of Chicago found that young men who slept only 5 hours per night for a week experienced a 10 to 15% drop in testosterone levels. Do you know what that means? Worse performance, slower recovery, less muscle, and more body fat. Your body can't operate precisely without recharging its systems. And it's not just hormones. Poor sleep leads to worse food choices, reduced strength, reduced focus, lower pain tolerance, and a much higher risk of injury. Basically, a ticking time bomb. Don't think of sleep as lost time. Sleep is part of the training. And if you do it right, you improve not just your body, but also your mind, your focus, your motivation, your discipline. Want better performance? Want more growth? Then turn off your phone, build a nighttime routine, and prioritize sleep as if it were another exercise. Because without rest, there is no recovery. And without recovery, there is no progress. 1. Not having a plan. This is the most common, most invisible, and most destructive mistake. Training without a plan is like going to the gym blindfolded. You can move, you can sweat, you can feel like you did something, but you're not advancing. You're running in circles. And the worst part is that it's deceiving, because since you're tired after working out, you think you did a good job. But being tired is not the same as making progress. And without a clear plan, no structure, no specific objectives, no tracking, the only thing you're building is frustration. I've seen hundreds of people spend years in the gym without changing their bodies. The reason? They didn't train badly. They trained without direction. They did the same thing every week, with no progression, no overload, no adjustments. That's like trying to climb a mountain by walking in circles at the base. A good plan gives you focus. It tells you what to work on each day, how to distribute your effort, when to push and when to pull back. It forces you to improve. And more importantly, it gives you clarity because you can see what's working and what isn't. You can correct, adjust, advance. Training without a plan isn't freedom. It's chaos. And chaos doesn't build physiques. Strategy does. So if you're training without knowing what you're doing tomorrow, without logging anything, without real goals, ask yourself this: are you training or just killing time? Your body needs structure to evolve. If you want real results, stop improvising and start planning like someone who takes this seriously. Training isn't just moving weights. It's a commitment to yourself, your body, and who you want to become. And every one of these mistakes, even the smallest ones, could be the reason you're not seeing results, the reason your progress is stuck, or the reason you feel frustrated and on the edge of giving up. But if you're here, if you made it to the end, I've got good news for you. You're on the side of the people who want to do things right, the ones who refuse to settle. Now you know what's been going wrong. Now it's your turn to fix it. And if you thought these mistakes were bad, wait until you see what people are doing with creatine. Because in the next video, I'm going to reveal 13 common mistakes that turn creatine, yes, that supplement you take every day, into something toxic, useless, and even dangerous. Trust me, it could be the reason you're not progressing, or worse, the reason you're damaging your health. Click now. This isn't optional, it's necessary.